How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl Wi-Fi battle. Today is the second time using this Houndoom team, so hopefully it goes well. If you want to battle me, join the Discord server in the description, and please like and subscribe for more videos like this one. With that being said, let's find ourselves a game. Alright, we found our opponent on Discord. You should join the Discord, by the way. Definitely a good chance to get a battle and stuff. I can't pronounce your name, I'm so sorry. Pup with a H at the end? Pup? I'm going to call you Pup, that's alright. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and lead with Masquerain. We want to get the sticky webs up straight away for that pesky Infernape, because we don't really have the best team to deal with an Infernape, to be honest with you, so I think that's probably a good idea. Houndoom's going to do some nice work here. You've got the Starmie, you've got the Hitmontop, which will not appreciate Fire Blast. I mean, we won't appreciate Mach Punch, but Torterra's there as well, and Skuntank. Well, we should probably be able to deal with that. Just the Gastrodon, really, to worry about in the Infernape. I'm sure we can handle them, though. I mean, Starmie handles both of them nicely. Well, not the Gastrodon, but you know what I mean. It handles the Infernape, so yeah, I think that's what we're going to go with anyway. And the battle begins, so my opponent's going to lead off with Bananas, the Infernape, just as I didn't expect. I didn't actually know what they lead with. I was hoping for the Starmie lead, because then I could just go straight to Magnezone and trap it, but no, that didn't happen. So Infernape is the one that comes in at this point. We have got Focus Sash, so we don't have to worry too much about this. Masquerain's basically our sticky webs, and usually it goes down, so we'll go for a sticky web first to get that up and out of the way. Infernape probably was the best lead for my team, because my whole team's basically weak to Infernape. And they're going to go for the U-turn. That's fair enough. It breaks my Focus Sash anyway, but luckily we have still got some health left, so we might be able to live a hit from whatever comes in. I'm thinking probably Starmie or Hitmontop or something like that is going to come in now. In comes Cookies, which is, of course, the Skuntank. So Skuntank, Starmie, and Hitmontop are all potential hazard clearers. Now, the fact that they've brought Skuntank in this matchup kind of tells me that that might be the case for the Skuntank, so I'm going to go straight into the almighty powerful Garchomp, and I'm just going to go ahead and go for an Earthquake, I guess. There we go, we're going to switch out. Now, I didn't want to go for the U-turn just in case they Sucker Punch me in the face. I kind of want to keep Masquerain around just in case the sticky webs get killed. Killed? In case they get cleared. They actually went for a Toxic instead of a Defog, so that's good to know that that's not a Defog user. So the Toxic on Garchomp is kind of bad because it's going to limit our amount of time we can spend on the field, of course, but pretty confident the Starmie's coming in, and it's fine if the Starmie comes in, because if they bring in the Starmie, we just switch to Magnezone, trap it, and we're good. But no, they actually decided to stay in and try and tank the Earthquake. That is not happening. I'm sorry, but nope. So the Skuntank goes down, unfortunately, for my opponent. Did get the Toxic off on us, though, so passively the Skuntank's going to be doing a lot of damage to the Garchomp. So if Garchomp goes down, it'll probably be Toxic. So let's see what they're going to do now. In comes Turbo Tank, which is, of course, the Torterra. Now, we are locked into our Earthquake, so this is not a very good matchup for us. The sticky webs are always helpful there. I'm thinking we switch out. I'm going to go ahead and expect a Wood Hammer or Stealth Rocks or Earthquake. So it's hard for me to think of a switch in. I think we're going to go into Masquerain. I think Masquerain's a pretty good shout here. It resists the Wood Hammer, it's immune to the Earthquake, and if they go for the Stone Edge expecting it, then kudos to them, that's a good play. But I'm probably going to see a Stealth Rocks, right? I think we see Stealth Rocks here. Let's see what they do, Leech Seed, okay. Leech Seed also works, so Leech Seed's going to obviously sap away our health every turn, and give them a bit of a health recovery. Not that they need it on the Torterra. Torterra is pretty cool on its own. What we can do now is we can go straight for a Bug Buzz, though. I'm trying to think what they could bring in against the Bug Buzz other than Starmie. So if they bring in Starmie against the Bug Buzz, we'll be pretty good. Right, they're going to withdraw the Turbo Tank. Are they going to go into Starmie? Muddy, that's the Gastrodon, right? Yeah, Gastrodon makes sense. Gastrodon can definitely tank a Bug Buzz. It is a very specially defensive beast. So let's see how much damage we're talking here with Bug Buzz. It does a solid little amount of damage, I guess. They might have also been expecting a Scold, because that can be a thing, or an Ice Beam. Definitely those can be a thing from Masquerain. But no, we don't have Ice Beam, we just have Scald. But I'm not going to go for the Scald on the Torterra because it's neutral. Bug Buzz does more damage, and chances are they were going to switch anyway. So I'm going to go for the U-turn right now just to get a bit of chip damage off as we switch out. And also if they decide to double switch, we can get the initiative on them. As they do decide to do that, which is pretty funny. They're probably thinking we don't have U-turn because of us not going for it earlier. Which makes sense. So Infernape's in a bit of a vulnerable spot right now. If it's the speed going down, we can bring in whatever we want, really. Well, not really. We can bring in something. We can bring in something and get the KO on it, hopefully. So I'm thinking Garchomp's a pretty good shout. But at the same time, I'm looking at their team and I'm thinking, oh, Starmie is a good shout. Starmie's a very good shout. I mean, we could even go into Houndoom, get some damage off, but we'll end up dying. So I'm going to go into our Starmie real quick. So we'll go into Shuriken real quick. And I've just realized that all 3 custom shinies on this team are red, which is like, whatever. I like red. Red's a cool color for a Pokemon to have. I'm thinking we anticipate a U-turn here. No, they wouldn't U-turn, would they? They wouldn't U-turn. They just switch straight out. I think they switch straight out into Gastrodon. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Ice Beam, expecting them to switch. They do switch out. Are they going to go into the Gastrodon? Buddy, there it is. So we're going to get a nice Life Orb Analytic boosted Ice Beam off on this Gastrodon, because Analytic's a pretty good ability on Starmie, because you force switches with Starmie. So that did a nice little chunk of damage, to be honest with you, not going to lie. A nice little chunk of damage. So what we could do here is we could go straight into Tangrowth and wall this thing, and that would probably bait out the Skarmory. So I'm thinking we just do that. They might expect us to go into Masquerain. They might expect a couple of things. I'm going to definitely go into Tangrowth, though. Tangrowth seems like the best shout here. So we'll bring Starmie back real quick, and we'll go into Tangrowth over here. And they actually go for a recover. Makes sense, makes sense. So what we'll do this turn is, we're not going to go for a Giga Drain. We're going to anticipate them switching out into either a Skarmory or an Infernape, and we'll go for a knockoff. Now, I could go for Sleep Powder, but it's likely that they could go into Torterra, and grass types, if you didn't know, are immune to powder moves, I believe. So there they go, they do withdraw the Gastrodon. Are they going to bring in the Skarmory? Brohammer. That's the Skarmory. Okay, cool. So Skarmory gets knocked off, which is great. So if it has the Shed Shell, which it doesn't, it no longer does have the Shed Shell, which means we can just go quickly straight into Magnezone, and hopefully we can trap this Skarmory. All right, there we go. We're going to switch out Tangrowth real quick. They should be faster than our Tangrowth, so if they were going to switch out, we'd know because they'd switch out first. As they actually end up going for a defog, getting rid of those sticky webs. Now, luckily, we still have Masquerain around, so it's not too big of a deal. So it's nice to know that the Skarmory is the hazard clearer in this team. It's very likely Hitmontop does have Rapid Spin because it's pretty common. They might have it as a backup hazard clearer, but I doubt it. I think 2 hazard clearers is a bit of an overkill. So they go for the Stealth Rocks. May as well get some Stealth Rocks up before they go down to an inevitable Thunderbolt as the Skarmory goes down. So Skarmory is out of the way, which means Garchomp now is pretty free to reign with an Outrage. We do outspeed the Infernape, of course. All right, they're going to bring in Turbo Tank the Torterra. Now, obviously, I'm going to expect an Earthquake here. We could also, but I think Tangrowth's a pretty good switch for now. Because Tangrowth can't be Leech Seeded. It's going to resist both its stabs. I think Tangrowth is a perfect counter to Torterra over here. So we'll bring Tangrowth in now. Get hit by some rocks, which is fine. Leech Seed doesn't affect us, which is great. As what we can do the next turn, we can just go straight for another knockoff, and hopefully we'll catch something on the switch. Hopefully the Infernape. That'd be great to catch on the switch. Get rid of that Choice Band if it's got one. As they do stay in, they go for an Earthquake, clearly just trying to get some damage off from Tangrowth, and it just does not work at all. That just tickled me a little bit, to be honest with you. So we knock off their leftovers, which is always nice. We clearly win this situation, so I think they kind of have to go for a switch now into Infernape. I think it's the only way they can really win this 1v1 encounter, because my Giga Drain is going to do enough damage to where it's like the recovery recovers most of the damage the Torterra does, etc, etc, etc. So they are going to switch into the Infernape now. They kind of had to. I could have anticipated that I'm going for a Stealth Rocks, not Stealth Rocks, Sleep Powder, but decided against it, you know. So if this thing is Choice Banded, it definitely one-shots us with Flare Blitz. Now we've got to choose a Pokemon that has switches into an Infernape now, and I'm not sure what we have to offer. I mean, we could go Masquerain. Sticky Webs shouldn't be too much of a problem in it. You know, not too important anymore. The Infernape's already out. Got to do something about it now. They might go for a U-turn, expecting us to switch into Starmie again, because we did that before. I think we could probably go for a Masquerain though and get the Intimidate off. I think that's definitely a decent play. So that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Again, they could just go for a U-turn here, but I don't think they will. I think they'll go for a Flare Blitz, to be honest with you, try and take out the Tangrowth nice and easily. It still do a lot of damage to the Garchomp. So we get the Intimidate off as well, which is great. Intimidate getting off is brilliant, as they do go for the U-turn, which is going to KO us. There we go, see KOs. Which means we get initiative on whatever they bring in. So that's actually worked out pretty nice for us. So Infernape does go back because of the U-turn. I'm just curious as to what they're going to bring in now. They're going to bring in Turbo Tank, the Torterra. So this Torterra, I'm having a bit too much problematicness. I'm having too much of a problem with this Torterra. So we're going to go into Houndoom real quick. Now, I'm guessing that they'll switch into Gastrodon. That seems like the logical thing for them to do, go into Gastrodon. So I kind of want to go for a nasty plot. Now, I don't think they would stay in with a Torterra. Torterra is too important. I mean, if they get rid of the Houndoom, Torterra is going to be tough for us to take down. However, let's go for the nasty plot. I think they're going to switch out into Gastrodon. They are going to withdraw. Okay, cool. Do they go into... What are they going into? Rambo. That's the Hitmontop. Okay, cool. So we'll see whether or not this Hitmontop has Intimidate, which it doesn't, which tells me it's definitely a Technician version. I should have just gone for Fire Blast, really, to be honest with you. So that's kind of not worked out in our favor. Do I want to get hit in the face with a Technician boosted Mach Punch, or do I want to just switch out into something like Starmie? Starmie would be a great switch. Garchomp. Garchomp's a decent one as well. I think next time we get in that situation with Torterra, we definitely just go straight for the Fire Blast. I think they probably expect us to switch out, right? And they don't go for the Mach Punch. So I'm going to go for a Fire Blast. Fire Blast. As they go for a Fake Out. Oh, that did a lot of damage. And the Life Orb as well. So the Life Orb Fake Out. That's not good. Probably going to get hit by a Bullet Punch. Mach Punch, whatever they want to go for. They might even go for a Sucker Punch. No, the Sucker Punch wouldn't work if you switched. I think the play here is to go into Starmie. I think definitely go into Starmie right now. We'll keep Houndoom alive just in case we get a switch into Torterra. Just in case we get a switch into Torterra. So let's see what they're going to do. Are they going to go straight for the Mach Punch? Let's have a look. Yeah, Mach Punch. Okay, cool. So that's fine. They might go for a Sucker Punch next. It depends whether they've got Sucker Punch or Bullet Punch. Sucker Punch won't KO us from here, will it? Might. Let's go for the Rapid Spin, get rid of them Stealth Rocks, because they're probably going to switch Gastrodon in. They do have Sucker Punch, and it KOs us. Okay, so Hitmontop's just kind of pulled that back. The crit didn't matter, I don't think, based on that Mach Punch damage. I don't think the crit mattered at all. So, that's a shame. Now what? We go in... Well, what's the point in going to Magnezone? They have a Gastrodon right there. I guess we just go into our Garchomp. Garchomp's a decent one here. So what we can do with Garchomp is we can just go straight for an Outrage. Outrage will do a lot of damage to everything on the team. So I think based on where the Hitmontop is, I think Outrage is the play. So let's go for it. Let's just go for the Outrage. I think with what they've got left, Outrage is just going to dominate them. So they're going to bring in Turbo Tank, which is the Torterra. Now, if they are physically defensive Torterra, they're probably going to tank this Outrage pretty well. Not well enough. That's going to 2-hit KO. And they don't have the leftovers anymore. So what are they going to do now? Unfortunately, though, if we do take out the Torterra with the Garchomp, it does mean that Houndoom's not really got a good opportunity to shine in this game. Which also means we can sack it off later on. So Turbo Tank, the Torterra, unfortunately it wasn't up to spec, and it couldn't handle 2 Outrages from Garchomp, so that's a shame. Now, unfortunately, we aren't confused, which means we are still stuck into one more Outrage. I don't know what they're going to bring in. They might go Hitmontop, Fake Out, Mach Punch. I think that's what they're going to try and do anyway. In which case, I want to switch out, but I can't. So there's the Fake Out. That's going to do a lot of damage. Wow, that did a lot of damage. A lot of damage. We got confused as well because of the Outrage being over, and then the poison. It's just not looking good. We're not looking good. So, we're going to switch out. What into? I don't know. Tangrowth. Tangrowth's a solid one. Tangrowth is definitely a solid one. So they might anticipate this and go for a switch. It's always a possibility. I think we just go for a Sleep Powder with Tangrowth. I think Sleep Powder is a pretty solid play. So they're going to go for the Mach Punch. We eat that like it's nothing because we are a Tangrowth. and they get a bit more damage with a Life Orb. So we're slowly whittling away the Hitmontop. Hitmontop's proving to be quite the troublesome Pokemon. It can now one-shot our Houndoom and our Garchomp from the health they're at. So I need to be really careful. So I'm going to go for a Sleep Powder, expecting them to switch into the Infernape. As they do switch out, are they going into the Infernape? Or are they going... Yep, there's Bananas. Bananas! Yeah. So we get the Sleep Powder off. Yes, thank you, please. Not like the other day when I just missed 4 times in a row. That's just... Not very nice. Not very nice at all. My next team, by the way, is going to have a lot of lower tier Pokemon in it. We're going to go back to our roots a bit and get some lower tier Pokemon. Just for the funs of it, just for the funsies. So this turn, I'm going to bank on them being asleep. And I'm going to go for an Earthquake. It's a bit of a gamble, but it is what it is. They are still asleep, which is great, as we can just go for an Earthquake. And hopefully that takes out the Infernape from there. It does. So Infernape is out of there. And now they have Gastrodon and Hitmontop. And I think we basically wall them with Tangrowth. I mean, it depends what the Gastrodon's got. If the Gastrodon's got Ice Beam, that's going to do a lot of damage. In comes Muddy. So the fact that they've brought this thing in tells me they probably have Ice Beam. We're just going to go for the Giga Drain anyway, because we should have 1 Ice Beam. We actually outspeed them even though we're relaxed. Doesn't get the KO though. So depending on if they get a crit or not with this Ice Beam, might be screwed. So there's the Ice Beam coming through. Doesn't do enough damage. It wouldn't have even... The crit wouldn't have KO'd me, so... Pretty bulky of Tangrowth, to be honest with you. Now, I just have a bad feeling that in the Gastrodon are at a speed tie. Just based on the fact that I am very slow. Magnezone's not doing anything. Garchomp's not doing anything. Let's go ahead and... Did they go for another Ice Beam here? I don't know. Let's go into Garchomp. I know what you're thinking. Oh, we outspeed, go for the Giga Drain. Look, Tangrowth is my win condition here. I just want to be safe. I just want to be safe, you know. I just really want to be safe in this situation. So we'll bring Garchomp in to die. They go for the Ice Beam again straight up. Like I said, it's just to get the Regenerator on the Tangrowth so that I know in my head that if they did outspeed us, if it was a speed tie without looking at the speed tiers, that I know that I can live an Ice Beam and I can just go for another Giga Drain. But there's no point because we can just go into Houndoom now, and this is where Houndoom gets to shine a little bit. Just a little tiny bit, like. We're going to go for a Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse will definitely take out the Hitmontop from where it's at, I think, and it'll also definitely take out this Gastrodon. So bringing in Houndoom just to get it a bit of the spotlight. Because why not? And we'll just go for a Dark Pulse. There we go. Go for the Dark Pulse. That's definitely going to take out the Gastrodon from there, which is great. So Houndoom got a KO. That's about as good as it gets with Houndoom. You know what, though? When I've been playing on Showdown, it does a really good job, you know, switching into Heatrans. Even if you're ballsy enough, switching into a Rotom Wash that you're anticipating to go for something like, I don't know, Will-O-Wisp, that's the one. Will-O-Wisp, you know, switching into Will-O-Wisp and stuff like that, getting a Flash Fire boost and scaring them out. It's worked out pretty well on Showdown. It's just for some reason I can't seem to get it to replicate in Wi-Fi. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's just people play different on Wi-Fi, maybe because it's like, you know, you have less time to think, stuff like that. I don't know. Let's go for the Thunderbolt anyway. They're probably going to go fake out Mag Punch. No, they just go straight up Mag Punch. That's not going to KO us, though. As we can just go for a Thunderbolt and take them out. Now, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the game. So thank you so much for watching today's video. If you made it this far, please feel free to leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.